speaking of stronger than before, the soundtrack, the opening theme, dude, that was awful, but whatever. You guys expect me to be good at this?
What am I, an opera singer?
Ron Wasserman kills it again.
I say it once, and I can't say I said it once because I say it on every episode. Ron Wasserman is the GOAT of Power Rangers theme songs. Change my mind, you can try, but you're wrong.
You lose! Good day, sir!
They need to bring that man back for more theme songs.
Go, go.
Ranger Rabble. Rabble, Ranger Rabble.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Season 2 of Ranger Rabble. As always, Leo V on this side.
Kyle D on this side. It's Morphin time!
And today we are very excited to be talking about what I call Season 2 of Power Rangers Zeo.
Oh, God. I loved this season so much.
They did a lot of good things with this season. They also did a lot of not so great things about this season. Haim Saban, you
Wow, we're already starting with the cursing.
you slimy
Son of a gun. For those of you who that roughly translates to...
So, Power Rangers Zeo, they did a big team change as far as the theme of the Power Rangers. So, moving from Mighty Morphin into something different was risky. They didn't know if it was going to really hold the same kind of attention and be a billion-dollar franchise that Mighty Morphin was. But, we did get some really cool stuff out of Zeo. I want to say the Sixth Ranger arc was probably one of my favorites. we happen to have a small affliction for the Gold Ranger here at Ranger Rabble.
I'm just going to say it. I love gold.
The look of it, the taste of it, the smell of it, the texture.
But before we get into it, if you guys are liking what you see here on Nerd Daddy Productions and have been here since the beginning of Ranger Rabble, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down there. It takes 2 seconds for you, but it means the world to us here at the Command Center. So, this series was based off of the Super Sentai series Choriki Sentai O-Ranger. O-Ranger.
Can I do it? Can I do it?
Do it.
Oh, Ranger.
We pick up the season with Rito and Goldar blowing up the command center. So in the process, they had stolen the Zeo crystal, but somehow in their explosion drop it, and they are blown away somewhere else, and the Rangers end up finding the Zeo crystal and then falling through a hole in the earth.
But they don't just fall through the earth. No. Not before we get that Zeo noise for absolutely no reason.
We end up meeting the Machine Empire, which is going to be our villains for the season. You want to talk about them a little bit?
Evil endeavors.
So King Mondo, Queen Machina, and Prince Sprocket. For me, Queen Machina holds a special place in my heart because she's voiced by Alex Borstein. And for those of you who don't know who Alex Borstein is, she's Lois from Family Guy.
I mean, I would have gone with, oh yeah, he looking like a man.
Mrs. Swan from Mad TV.
Fucking Miss Swan, man.
Apparently this was actually one of the roles that helped her break into voice acting.
Her voice in this is very commanding. It's very not what you would expect from her regular talking voice.
Hey, darling, look at them run, will you?
Clang and Orbis, they are an interesting duo. I like how he is the reason. I'm sorry to cut you off. He is the way that the monsters grow. He throws Orbis at them, and Orbis causes them to grow. And I love the Scottish accent.
It's very C-3PO. It just gives me
Yes.
Oversladded. I hope there are no kinks in our new software.
Yeah, now I can't unsee or hear that. Oh my god. But we get the cogs in this. The cogs
Yeah.
are the putties for this season, and the cogs are cool until their heads come up, and it scares the hell out of you.
Because they look like they're going to explode. It's like,
Yeah.
boom.
And we also had different colored cogs in this. We had the gray cogs, which are kind of like the lower level, you know, oh, we're the putties, we're going to get you. But then the brown or the gold, I call them golden cogs. They were much scarier, much more aggressive in their fight pattern, in their fight style as well. Overall, I would have rather fought a putty because the noises that the cogs made, or am I thinking of in space? No, the cogs make a noise too, right?
Surrender the Gold Ranger to us!
But we do see some decent, actual like monsters.
What I do like about the Machine Empire is they very much kind of take whatever technology is around them and can take that and turn it into a monster. An internet virus can get turned into a monster. You know, it really opens up a little bit more creativity than just being like, oh, well, here's a purse that we found, or here's a fish from the river.
And the planes that they fly, I call them cog blasters or cog, whatever the hell they're called.
Yeah.
Friggin' cool as hell. They come in, they're shooting the sound wave blasters at you, but then just when you think life can't get any worse, the legs come down, and now you've got giant AT-ATs coming at you, and like they're doing this whole like spider walk. Like the legs are moving like this the whole time they're walking, and they're just blasting at you. I'm sorry, no, thank you. Even if I was a Power Ranger,
The planet wherever the Machine Empire is, like the home base, wherever that is, always looked so cool. There was so much happening in the foreground, in the background, with like different things exploding and those things walking around, and it just gave you that full army feel where it was just like, well,
I'm
fuck.
just gonna say it gives you an Empire feel.
Ah, I guess that's why they're called that.
The Machine Empire is just the Empire on steroids. But while we are on the topic of headquarters,
Home sweet headquarters!
let's talk about the command center.
Right, because our Rangers get pulled into this. They walk through this ooze into a mystical, magical, brand new command center.
How does it feel? It feels cool. And he just goes and pulls apart the goo. It's just like, oh, okay. But yeah, they walk through the goo into the brand new command center. Completely redone, completely modernized, for lack of a better word. The coolest thing, in my opinion, is the old suits in the wall.
When they first give us that pan across, the old Power Rangers as you know it are gone forever now. Except now there's Master Morphers and Forever Red and in space where Adam has a broken Morpher and just morphs into it. But we weren't there yet.
Seeing the old suits in the wall, just super cool, super awesome to get that nostalgic feeling. And I feel like even though they don't show it, I feel like every time they go to morph out to go fight somebody, they do the whole like hand on the glass to their respective color at some point. You know what I mean? But Zordon's tube gets an upgrade as well. He's no longer this awful pixelated head in a tube. Now he's a three-dimensional head in a tube.
They give him a little bit more dimension.
Yes. And all in all, I mean, I liked this command center, the lights, the aesthetic of it. Friggin' cool. Hands down, one of my favorite eras of the command center.
It was a lot brighter. The first command center was very dark, and they relied solely on those like flashing overhead tube lights and pretty much Zordon to light up the whole space. So it was nice to see a little bit more brightness in there where you can see the colors of the suit a little bit more. You can highlight some of the technology that's on the mother all the control boards.
More phenomenal mentor.
We still have Zordon and Alpha, our mentor and sidekick du jour for the season. And it was great to have a continuation of them. I feel like it solidified the importance of Zordon as not just a mentor for the Rangers now, but for going through the rest of the Ranger timeline all the way to Cosmic Fury, where Zordon is still called back on. So
Mm-hmm.
it helped to really instill that, I don't want to say like godliness on Zordon, but like he is the blue-headed Jesus of Power Rangers.
So, in the process of us seeing the new command center, we also get to witness essentially a passing of the torch when Billy turns to Tanya. He tells her, if anybody can carry the power, it's you. As from this moment forward, you are a Power Ranger. And we get the cool little guitar riff and everything, and they all walk over to the respective spots, and we see a changing of the colors as well.
I really like these suits, and they get a lot of shit because of the shapes on their helmets, but they correspond with their Ranger numbers. Obviously, like Cat is 1, and it's a 1 big circle. 2, you get 2 little circles. 3 is a triangle because it's 3 points. 4 is a square because it's a shape, and 5 is the points of the triangle. And if you didn't know shapes, this is your geometry lesson. You're welcome.
In that retrospect, so Tanya and Kat stay yellow and pink. Rocky becomes the Blue Ranger. Adam goes to green, and JDF, Tommy freaking Oliver, finally takes the mantle as the Red Zeo Ranger, the leader of the team.
The leader in red, not the leader in white.
And honestly, dude, I liked Tommy as a Red Ranger. I really did. He's great as a Sixth Ranger. He's great as an ally. But seeing him in command in red, I'm sorry, that's freaking cool as hell.
You're not wrong. I definitely think that his leadership game was definitely stepped up this season.
Leaving was a really tough decision for me, but I'll tell you what made it cool. I knew I was leaving the Rangers in good hands. I mean, with you as their leader. Thanks.
There was a lot of moments where they maybe called on him a little too much. The other Rangers should have been able to handle something without being like, "Oh my God, Tommy, we need your help." Me. So with these new suits, Billy also helps to create the new Zords. And I really like that Billy takes a step back into the more technical aspect because my boy's got a brain on him and he needs to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that he was not, valuable as a Ranger, because he absolutely was. Also puts a little bit of humanity in the command center, so it's not just like Zordon and Alpha. It's usually Zordon Alpha Billy. So you get a little bit more in there than just Zordon and Alpha.
What I didn't like, though, in regards to Billy, was that wasn't the thing that he started aging quickly or something like that.
Yes. So back in Mighty Morphin, he created a device when they were all children to try to, get them all big again. He used it on himself, and because of that, there is prolonged, throughout the season, he's like getting older. Billy goes on a sabbatical and falls in love with his doctor and decides to stay on Aquitar.
He's so happy, he's speechless.
Unfortunately, there was some, let's just say, hateful comments being thrown David Yost's way on set, and he had heard it one too many times and walked off. So he's never even watched the episodes, with him getting older or any of that. So he doesn't even acknowledge that as being part of it because he wasn't around for it.
But bringing him back, though, for once a Ranger, smart.
It was despicable that Saban would do something like that or allow things like that to happen. But it's not surprising because Saban was on record saying the helmets are what makes the money, not the people inside the costumes. So he was already stupid from saying that. So fuck you, Saban.
But Billy making the Zords ended up giving us a pretty solid Megazord.
Mega Madness!
You know, these swords were actually pretty cool. And I like the fact that the Megazord had the ability to put on a piece of each Zord as like a headpiece and give it special powers. So Cat Zord, Zeo Zord 1 was a cannon with 5 missiles on it, and the cannon becomes the Zeo 1 battle helmet. Zeo Zord 2 is 2 mounted blasters with 2 swiveling cannons, and the blaster becomes Zeo 2 battle helmet. Zeozord 3 is a Sphinx that has sharp teeth and a laser gun, or 2 different laser guns on the forehead. And the lion's mane becomes Zeo 3 battle helmet. Zeo 4 is a bull that has like lightning that shoots out of the tip of its horns, and the bullhead becomes the Zeo 4 battle helmet. And Zeo 5 is a phoenix that can fly and shoot lasers and also carries the defender wheel, which is another Zord that they created. And the tail feathers from the phoenix become the default headpiece for the Megazord. So that's the Zeo 5 battle helmet.
So I'm looking at this right now, and I'm looking at the Sphinx, and I'm sorry, that's the yellow Lion Zord from Ninja Storm.
No, it doesn't have that like big round like Shagunda behind it like the yellow one did.
The Sphinx thing.
Yeah, the Sphinx thing, it has is more like a Sphinx headpiece, I would say. Okay, so like I kind of see what you mean by that, but only like a smidge because like I
Correct.
said, the mane is at least like a more, I'll say it's a more rectangular shape as opposed to the Lion Zord from Ninja Storm, which was a legitimate Ferris wheel with a lion head coming out of it.
All right. But on top of those Zords, we also got the Super Zeo Zords.
Well, yeah, we got those were actually fucking badass because they were each shaped like their symbol.
Yeah,
That was kind of cool. I liked that.
they were cool.
And they were and they that was them each having their own individual Zord that wasn't the Shogun Zords that were kind of the Alien Ranger Zords. So I don't really count those as them having their own like individual Zords yet.
And then Tommy, of course, gets his own Zord, his own special Zord. I loved the Red Battle Zord, dude, and I had the figurine. I had the. I don't know where I found it. I think it was a yard sale when I was younger, but it had the hands. Oh man, it was so much fun.
That Zord was controlled by Tommy's mind, so he couldn't be too stressed or have too much teenage stuff going on his mind. So you got to clear your mind, otherwise the Zord doesn't work. They also had the Defender wheel that was made by Billy and Alpha, which was a giant tire that turned into a Megazord. And then, of course, later on down the road with our Zords, we get the Zeo Ultra Zord Warrior Mode, which is all of the Zords tucked into the back of Pyramidas with the 2 cannons coming off the shoulders, and the tip of the pyramid comes down. It has a explosion that just shoots out.
That's rad as shit. There's actually, I'm looking at right now. There's actually somebody drew, I guess, their own version of the Ultra Zord, and it's actually like Ultra Zord like battle mode, robot style. I just sent it to you. Awesome armory.
Some other weapons that the Rangers end up using this season, they have their typical pistols that hang out on their hips, and they also have their Zeo Power Pods sword, which is like a collapsible baton sword type thing. And the 2 of those combine to become the advanced Zeo laser pistol. A little extra firepower, nothing crazy. Then they get their individual weapons. Kat gets her power disc. Tanya gets the power clubs, which are nunchucks. Rocky gets tonfas, which are those like little triangle looking
Oh,
doodles
the
that he
blades,
plays.
right? You hold.
Yeah, that he plays around with. Adam gets the power hatchets, which are little baby mini axes, and Tommy gets the power sword. And all
Power
of
Sword
those
was
can
cool.
come together to become the Zeo Blaster.
The Power Sword was cool as hell, man.
And like came out of his like the visor would like it like came out of there and matched the hilt of his sword. They did some cool shit with that. And by they I mean Sentai, because
Yes.
that's where it all come from. They also had the Zeo power cannon, which was fueled by those like giant handheld power cells that they would put in the sides, and like they would shoot off a gigundous blast of good energy to destroy all the bad people. Some other fun stuff that happens this season. Kimberly breaks up with Tommy through a letter.
Are you there for me? Can we found before and we start a different path? Can we live what no is true? Can we lift our spirits high?
But it made sense because, she was off doing her thing. And, long distance relationships when you're a teenager in high school is silly. She was in Florida. And yes, just because you can teleport doesn't mean Zordon's going to let you teleport to go have hanky panky time with Kimberly. Tommy's Native American heritage is, we get a little bit more backstory on that. So he meets this guy named Sam, and it turns out that he's on a spirit quest and ends up finding this guy who looks a lot like him, and it turns out that Tommy has a long lost brother. And so he meets his brother David, who also has luscious long JDF hair. And I didn't notice this until recently, but both Tommy and David, when they do their lines, they're very breathy. Oh, hey, Kimberly.
Falcon, got away.
Tommy, your vision quest is over.
They breathe through their lines, and it wasn't until that was pointed out where I go, oh, that is the distinct JDF acting style.
So when I was 5, JDF came to my karate school with his brother. Yeah. So they put like these posters on the windshields of the cars. It was like, next week, the Red Zeo Rangers coming here. And I'm like, okay, they're going to hire some dude in a costume. So we go to the class and the lights go out and they start playing the Zeo theme. And we're all like, yeah. And this dude comes out in a full Zeo suit. Like, I'm thinking that's a pretty accurate Zeo suit. And he's doing his hi-yas and everything. And all of a sudden, my 5-year-old self goes, oh my God, I know who that is.
I know that Kia.
Yup. And the lights come on and he goes, you guys ready for some karate? Click, helmet off, passed out. I got to take a karate class taught by him. And then afterwards, I got to like say hi to him and everything. Yeah, 5-year-old me was like on a whole other planet.
At one point, Tanya's parents are on some Indiana Jones archaeological dig, and they find this relic called Auric. And at this point, King Mondo has been destroyed, and this Louis Kaboom comes in as the kind of replacement leader of the Machine Empire. There's the word. So he steals Auric and traps them in there. Tanya is sent the key by Aisha so that she can protect it and not let the bad guys get it. The bad guys end up getting it and releasing Auric, and 5 minutes later, the Rangers are like, hey, you should fight with us instead. And he does. So they can call on him, and he's essentially another giant Zord that can transform into a fighter mode just to give them a little extra firepower.
The Golden Morpher. Right here. The Golden Morpher. This is a new segment that Leo and I came up with. And this is basically the top prize of the podcast, of the cast. We tell you what we think is the best moment, best Zord, best Morph of the season. And do I get into this now, or do we talk after the Gold Ranger?
So let's just get into it now because it'll lead right into the Gold Ranger because we're just going to sit here and talk about him for another 10 minutes. So it's not like it's
Yeah.
going to matter.
So the Gold Morpher goes to the Gold Ranger. The entire
Hands down.
Gold Ranger arc, like I showed you guys before, kind of a theme here. Bringing back ASJ to play the Gold Ranger, bringing back Jason to the season, brilliant.
It was a very smart move on their part. They were doing their best to try to up the ratings midway through the season. So they said, all right, let's bring a face back that will, kind of help us out. And they had been, trying to tease us all couple episodes where I was like, oh, is this going to be Billy as the Gold Ranger? Because every time the Gold Ranger would show up, Billy would not be there. And then he just shows up afterwards. Oh, huh? Then at one point they were trying to tease that Tommy's brother was going to be the Gold Ranger. We were like, huh? That would be cool. And then all of a sudden Tommy was like, no, bro, I know who's going to be the new Ranger. Because they tried to give it to Billy and his body was not taking the power because of all of his old aging, transmuting, hateful stuff behind the scenes.
And Trey of Triforia was such a cool character, man.
Yeah. So the Gold Ranger had kind of been hopping in and like saving them, but not really sticking around and letting them know who he was. Billy had kind of pinned down that they had the same energy source, so it had to be another Ranger who was helping them. But when we finally meet Trey of Triforia, or the Treys of Triforia, because there's Trey of Wisdom, Trey of Courage, and Trey of Heart, and they all make up the Gold Ranger.
I like that though. Like I like that when his power is disrupted, he breaks into three people because the power, in my opinion, the Gold Ranger is the strongest Power Ranger. He has the Gold Zeo crystal. Like the Zeo powers are the strongest power
Canonically, yeah.
Ah, look at that. Kai used the big word. To me, having to split into three because the power is so strong makes absolute common sense. And the DeFilippo triplets, shout out to those guys. Hell yeah. They play the role so well.
And I like that the shape of the Gold Ranger is, like a six-sided shape that goes along with all of their other geometric shenanigans. So
know that this is actually the Chinese symbol for king.
Yes, I want to say in O Ranger he was known as like King Ranger.
Yes, he was King Ranger. I found that out. I was doing my research on the Gold Ranger years ago, and I kept typing in like, what is the Gold Ranger, the top of the staff called? What is that symbol? And I actually had a friend who was Japanese who was like, that means king. And I go, what? And yeah, he walked me through the whole thing, and he was like, let me guess, you're a Power Ranger fan. And I go, no. What gave you that idea? Puts away more.
Now, speaking of the Gold Ranger, from the Sentai footage, this was another season that Sentai had done a Kid Ranger. So if you watch Choriki Sentai O Ranger, the Gold Ranger is a small little baby.
My favorite episodes from Zeo is when Tommy turns evil.
Tommy just gets kidnapped. He's out on a jet ski and like doing his thing, and then all of a sudden he's gone. The Machine Empire ends up kidnapping him and brainwash Tommy and make him think that he is the leader of the Machine Empire, and they try to gaslight him into thinking that the Rangers are his enemies. Which was such a great fucking arc because watching Jason have to come in and still feeling all of that guilt from not saving the Green Ranger powers and, still having all of that on his shoulders is the team shows up and they're finally able to get through to Tommy and get him to remember, like, bro, you are one of us. You are the GOAT. You must come back. Help us, Tommy One Konami. You're our only hope.
Ami One Konami.
So, towards the end of the season, the Gold Ranger powers are starting to weaken, and it ends up that the powers are taking Jason's life force in the process.
Mhm.
So, it is slowly killing him to keep the powers. So, they get in touch with the Treys from the Triforias, and they come back and they end up doing a repower transfer back to them so that they don't kill Jason. But in the process of this, King Mondo ends up getting revived, and Trey ends up using his powers to make all of the Rangers giant. So they have a giant Rangers versus giant King Mondo and Machine Empire kind of fight, and it's a little bit silly. It's a little bit campy, but then again, this is Power Rangers. What else are we expecting here?
Exactly.
Get it together, bro.
Throughout this season, Rita and Zed kind of keep showing up, and they're living in an RV on like the moon or something, and they're kind of like homeless ruffians, and they pretend like they're meaningful throughout the season, and because of them, they end up destroying the Machine Empire. They give Sprocket a present that ends up being a bomb, and as they drive away, they all explode.
And not just that, Goldar and Rito have had their memories wiped, and they don't know who they are.
That was
And
so
so
silly.
they choose Bulk and Skull to be their masters, and they come home one day, and Goldar's in a freaking pink smock.
Just a
Complete
slight bit
shit.
of indentured servitude
Yeah.
from two people who are becoming police officers.
Weird flex, but okay.
There's a simple explanation for that.
But yeah, it was a choice to make the dynamic comedy duo of Bulk and Skull to be a dynamic comedy quad of Rito, Goldar, Bulk, and Skull, and sometimes Lieutenant Stone. You know, it's never really explained as to why they get rid of their Zeo powers, other than like Divatox is going after some power and cars and so there was no reason for them to give up the Zeo powers. The power that only continues to get stronger. Literally stronger than before.
Oh, wait, no.
Oh my god, oh my god, it was right there.
Get out
The
of
whole
here.
time.
No. Podcast is over. I quit. Leo made us smart. My brain hurts. Well, from all of us here at Ranger Rabble, from season 2 of Ranger Rabble, I'm Kyle D.
I'm Leo V, and as always, it's Morphin
It's Morphin
time.
time.
Zeo Ranger 3, blue.
Gold Ranger power. Later.
Later.